What's up, guys? YouTube, we're going to attempt to go back to our one take wonders
Surely we can do this
without having to restart. So
in one take.
this time Medina's mic will work. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys,
we got
last
this.
week I had quite a few people reach out. It
That
just
was
a
nice
mistake.
of them to like realize.
Unless you had the conversation with the people that reached out.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
well,
weren't
I took it
nice.
immediately.
Well, they weren't. It's not that they weren't nice. They're just they think that we did that purposely. Like, hey,
Oh,
did you turn her mic on? No, I didn't. Whatever.
because really, you didn't really want to hear what I had to say.
Whatever. Yeah, episode 35. If you're tuning in.
What is the next episode we're gonna celebrate? 50, 100. Like what's the next one we're gonna celebrate?
Probably 50 for
I
sure,
think we should, yeah.
and then
Maybe-
probably
may-
$5,000.
Maybe downloads. Maybe we should do another like live audience or something for 50.
Yeah, we can do a slab.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep, we can definitely.
And
do
what we
that.
should do is only people that watch this YouTube video.
Invite them.
They have to
We
say
should go
the
somewhere.
secret word.
Oh, we should just go somewhere.
Yeah,
We should load everybody up and just go
Let's go.
somewhere.
let's do it.
That'd be cool. All right, ready?
Ready?
Hang on. Make sure I have my notes.
Please don't mess us up.
I know. I don't want to. It's Wednesday night. We gotta roll. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Made for More Consulting Podcast. My name is Mario. Just glad you're with us. Adina, welcome back.
I'm so glad to be here.
Tiana's here. My wife, Jamie's here. We are on episode 35. We are still on our book, Atomic Habits. And I don't mean still as in it's a long book. I'm just saying still as in we're discussing some good stuff. Episode 35, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And yeah, we are discussing right now, right in the middle of the 4 laws of how to create atomic habits. And
Yep.
so
The first one was make it obvious.
the second one we discussed last week, which was make it attractive.
This week is make it easy.
And next week will be make it satisfying. So one of the things to keep in mind if you're just now joining us, we don't read the entire book when we're discussing a book like this. We're just picking out the highlights that we can learn from, we can challenge each other from. And then if this is your first time listening,
You should always go back and listen to episode 1.
yeah, so last month we had 10 people, 10 new listeners last month. So today's September 1st, we record on Wednesday. And
Did those 10 people listen to episode 1?
yeah, and they went all the way through.
Good.
So last month was our busiest month,
Good.
most downloaded month.
You
Yeah.
say that every single
Yeah,
month.
it's good.
And I feel like every single month you're like, this month is our most
It's
downloaded month. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
yes, that of course it is.
Yes, yeah. And so I heard from a couple people saying this last episode your mic was kind of muted.
I know.
It wasn't muted, it was just not on or something. I don't know what happened. I didn't
I'm gonna believe the
purposely-
best in you.
I didn't purposely mute you, so we're paying attention to the mic levels right now, and you seem to be,
I feel like it's fine.
yeah, it's good to go. So, yeah.
Section 3.
Yeah, section 3. If you haven't, if this is your first episode again, Adina said go back and listen to the first one, but also listen to episodes 33, 34, and 35 because that's where we start this book. So here we go. Keep in mind we're not reading the same book. I mean the whole book, but section 3, make it easy. Chapter 11 is called Walk Slowly, but Never Backwards. So I like this chapter because he talks about the age-old question of how long does it take to create a habit? You and I probably heard 21 days.
Well, I was
21
like, I
days,
feel like
a
it's
month.
like 30 days, dude. Yes, there's always, every expert
Yeah.
believes that there is like a certain amount of time
Yes.
that you build a habit.
And what he says, we won't tell him yet, but what he says makes sense to go. I think that's it. That's the answer. I don't care if they're experts or whatever. I don't think it's daily. I don't think it's about daily stuff, but we'll wait and give them the answer at the end of this chapter. So he quickly jumps into a very helpful couple of words, and it's challenging because I believe most people get stuck here, and the words are action and motion. Those 2 words when creating a habit.
Yeah, he says when you're in motion, you're planning and strategizing and learning. Action, on the other hand, is the type of behavior that will deliver an outcome.
Yeah, there's a few words like when someone says, I think I'm going to do this. Don't say think, just go do it, right? So
And don't you dare say the word try.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Worst word.
So action and motion, he's saying the same thing. You can say, being in motion is just saying, I need to plan this, I need to plan that. Action is saying, hey, you're actually doing it.
Well, I think a lot of people get stuck in motion and they don't have any action behind it. There's lots of planning. You know, I think about, it's just the way that it is. You get stuck in this motion, but there's no real action behind it.
Yeah, and I think General Patton is the one that said a good plan now is better than a perfect plan later. Meaning, just start moving,
Right.
Start going.
Action. Take some action.
Yeah, and I think for me, I think things have to be perfect, and they don't. You just got to start moving and rolling with things, and then start making things better as you start creating things. So I put as a team player or leader, this can be frustrating to those around us because if we don't move, you're frustrating the people around you. Maybe they're ready to move and you're stuck. So.
Well, I think sometimes you get a false sense of like you're doing something because you're planning and you're making a plan and you feel like you're moving forward.
Yep.
Like, I mean, if you want to talk about Made for More, I feel like, that was, you have spent a lot of time planning and preparing and having a strategy, but it was hard to make that switch into...
Now, realizing that's where I'm at again, is we have some great ideas, but we haven't moved on them.
Right.
So we just got to go.
You just got to go, which is exactly what he's saying.
And I think going back to the leadership side of it is if you and I are on a team where a leader's maybe stuck in action or in motion, it's easy to frustrate your team, right? But even if you're a leader and your team is motion and not action, it's frustrating, right?
Yeah.
So you got to be there has to be some kind of
like a balance.
A balance and some check-ins like, hey, where are you going? Where are you moving? So if you keep reading, let's keep going on these two words.
Motion makes you feel like you're getting things done, but really you're just preparing to get something done. You don't want to merely be planning, you want to be practicing. The key is to start with repetition, not perfection.
Yep, I keep thinking about just, again, practice, baseball or football. For me, it was in football in high school where it was the same play over and over again. Getting reps in is what they call it. Why? Because you want it to become a habit. So when you hear something, you do it. When you hear this word, you run this play. So you're getting reps in. It's about practice. It's about repetition. So, but how does that play out in life? So if I'm on a team and we're trying to stay in motion, I mean, I guess if you come into a meeting, run the meeting the same way where it's active and it's not in motion.
Yeah, well, if you came in and said, I have this really great idea, I want to bring this new product to this business. And they said, great, like, let's do it. And then for the next 6 weeks, you're researching it, but bringing up a plan, talking about where you're going to put it in the store, like you've gathered all the facts, but you haven't actually done anything to bring it in the store. The people, like your team and maybe your boss or your leader, that would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
Like,
while somebody else is creating the same product. And
right. Like, let's go. You said you wanted to bring this in.
Yeah, that's good.
Order it and move.
Yeah, so if you're on a team, come in and make sure your team knows what their role is so you can get moving. Like, hey, you're the marketing director, you're the graphics design person. So everybody goes, okay, I got that. They already know their routine and they know the habit is come in. Hey, here's the plan. Let's roll.
And I think fear a lot of times gets in the way, or like insecurity. But that's why you need the habit of, you have to take the action.
Yeah. So he goes on to talk about what happens in the brain, like physically, when you repeat a process. So there's an actual physical change. I know you and I talk about all the dopamine things, and it's in almost every book we covered. So you want to read that?
Like the muscles of the body responding to regular weight training, particular regions of the brain adapt as they are used and atrophy as they are abandoned.
So again, something physically happens when we're doing something over and over and over again. The brain begins to respond to it, going, okay, when you're in this situation, this is what needs to happen. And again, over and over and over again. Just remember that your brain is doing something, like waking up early, 70.
Right.
don't know what day I'm in, 76, 70, no, I'm on like say 79 or 80 of doing 2 workouts a day. But like this morning, I didn't want to wake up. I got like 4 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep, and I needed more, but my body was already going no. And what my brain tells me is you're going to regret this at the very end of the day, and I hate that feeling. So I'm in the habit of going, question where you're at and keep going. So, but this is where it leads us into talking about how many days does it take to create a habit.
Yep.
So did you ever believe the hype on this? I mean, I don't care if you do.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I mean,
do you think it's still?
I feel like you have to do it. I don't know if there's like a certain number of days, but I feel like you have to do it like over and over and over and over again for it to really be a habit and not just a choice that you're making.
Yeah, so it becomes a natural habit. So here's what he says. Do you want me to read it or you got it?
Habits are, that one, habits form based on frequency, not time. What people should really be asking is how many does it take to form a new habit? That is, how many repetitions are required to make a habit automatic?
So I think, so he's saying frequency is key, whether that's it's 2 or 235 times. I wonder if that's based on like, you're different than me in a different way. So if it was artistic, if it was sports, if it was business related, learning something that's in your wheelhouse, you probably can pick it up quicker. Whereas I'd have to practice something over and over and over again.
Right. Well, I think developing a habit and obtaining a skill are two different
That's
things.
True. That's true.
You know, so a habit is like just something that you wake up early, work out, whatever the habit is. It may even be the way that you prepare something, or I feel like habits all around hygiene. Taking a shower, brushing your teeth. But for kids, that's what you do.
Yeah,
you build that habit in there where it just makes just part of their day.
Yeah, we called it a routine here. Last week we started something because it got frustrating going to school and them not being ready. So I said, hey, tonight you're gonna write your own routine out of getting your bag ready, getting your lunchbox out, getting all that ready for the morning. And what my daughter said the next day was key. Is Allie said, hey, it feels good to wake up and have all my stuff ready. There you go.
Feels good to wake up and be prepared.
Yeah, and again, I think the whole thing when he talks about the brain, he talks about it, learning an instrument. I think that's another key thing is, do you play an instrument?
No, I don't play an instrument.
You've never played an instrument in your life?
Not one.
I picked up the guitar and learned that was something I said, hey, I'm going to pick up the guitar, I'm going to learn by myself. I don't need
Wait,
anybody
does like
teach me.
rock band count? Because I could play a mean
Well,
rock band like a million years ago.
But if you're playing the same song over and over again, you're learning how to play it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could do it.
I taught myself how to play the guitar. But
Yes,
that's what he's saying. It's repetitious,
Yeah.
repetitious. And I think of those guitarists that just can kill it. So,
Well, anybody that has that kind of gift, they have practiced over and over again.
but they've made it a habit because when
Yes.
they say, hey, we're playing Inner Sandman, that guitarist goes, I got this. I know what
Right.
it is.
And it just instantly.
Yeah. Because I told the guys that so every now and then I get to do a welcome at our church. And I told the band, I said, hey, if when my time is to come out and talk, if you could play Inner Sandman,
That would be so amazing.
that would be great. And we have, they play rock and roll. So
I'm gonna need that on video.
they
You have a guitarist that can make that
I
happen.
have 2 of them, and when I said Inner Sandman and then they start playing it, no sheet music or anything, I go, that means they practice this song over and over
Yes.
again. And for me, it's Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, because when I was in high school, we played that song over and over again, and it was built in my brain. The minute I get my guitar,
You can
I
play
know I
that.
can strum that and do that. So anyways, repetitious. So if you're trying to learn a habit, and it's an atomic habit that's going to help you in the long run, please, again, he's saying, how many times are you practicing it? So that might be an action step. I don't know. I have 2 of them written down already, but that might just be, hey, what are you doing over and over and over again? What are your repetitious habits that you're doing? So that was chapter 11. Chapter 12 is called The Law of Least Effort. And I put in one word that comes to mind is simplify.
Simplify. Well, it all goes back to make it easy.
Yeah, keep it simple, right?
Yep.
It's the second law of combat with Jocko's is,
Okay.
1 is teamwork, number 2 is
Keep
just
it
keep it
simple.
simple. People say keep it simple, stupid, but I take out stupid because some people get offended.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, in a nutshell, the quicker you can build a habit out of it being simple, we'll do this over and over again and keep creates momentum. But if it's too blurred or it's tough to start, guess what? You're never gonna do that again.
Yep.
Like eating good, I don't care. That habit's not there for me yet. Now, last week when he said if you could create the environment of fruit on the table, things
Right.
like that.
Well, that's what it was saying. Like, if it's not easy for you to eat good, if you don't have those things available, if you haven't, like, that's why meal prepping is always so important if you're trying to eat good, because then you're prepared and it's very simple
Yes.
to have that habit.
You're creating that habit of making it simple. Yeah, and I don't do that. I just want to go eat.
It's just not
I
important.
had
to you.
French toast for lunch today.
That sounds delicious.
French toast and raspberry, like some kind of
Compote.
raspberry. I don't know what it's called, and syrup.
Raspberry compote.
A bowl of potatoes and
Sounds
sausage
like I know
links.
exactly where you went for
Where'd I go?
first watch.
First watch.
Yes. And I had their $1 million bacon mark.
Yeah,
I've never had that.
Sounds
Wow.
like you went to first
So,
watch.
anyways,
It was
Yeah,
it was
agree.
the French toast with the raspberries.
Yes. I'm glad that y'all both know. My wife, I texted my wife, "Hey, how's it going today?" Good. I said, "Yeah, we just got back from first watch." She said, "Y'all suck." So, and then we were checking out, and Mark goes, "Man," and this is what he said. He goes, "We can't make this habit." I said, "What?" He goes, "Dude, we gotta pack our lunch, man." I said, "Why? Are we gonna get fat?" He goes, "No, dude, we're gonna break the bank." I was like, "No, I don't really care." But anyways, so I think this is where I'm gonna strike a chord with me when we start talking about this. We all want the path of least resistance in life. And that's just a fact. He talks about any human being wants the path of least resistance. But we can create that. We can create that with difficult habits. So the habit might be difficult, but if you create a least resistance path, and you can pick up on this habit easier, which is keeping it simple. So you want to read that? I know you said this
Yes,
earlier, but
energy is precious. The brain is wired to conserve it whenever possible.
so this is I almost cussed just now. I was gonna say this is where we get where the people right now that are listening that are just lazy butts. I was about to say something else. I can't stand the path of least resistance when you're going into a parking lot and there's one person all the way at the front with their signal light on waiting for somebody that's
Don't
still
get me
undoing
started.
their groceries
Don't get me
and
started.
they just want the freaking first
Don't get me started.
path of least resistance. Wait, and then they park there, right?
Yeah.
They come out with their buggy, and you see them put the buggy on the dang grass because they can't walk 5 yards to go put it up.
This is what I don't understand. This is totally a side note. It's like when you're gonna go to the grocery store or to Target or
Yeah.
the mall, you are gonna walk around
Yeah.
like forever.
Yeah.
But you can't walk 7 more car lengths
Yeah.
away.
Hey, I want to get in shape, but I want the first parking spot, and I don't want to put the dang buggies back. So I'm going to make someone else work harder when they come out, and you're going to say, "Oh, that's just their job." No.
No, yeah. Well, the buggy
Anyways.
thing, I think that's just you being a jerk.
Energy is precious, is what we're saying, and so that's why you get the temptation to take the shortcut, right? Because your mind's thinking path of least resistance. Anyways, in a sense, every habit is just an obstacle to getting what you really want. The greater the obstacle that is, the more difficult the habit, the more friction there is between you and your desired end state. That is why it is crucial to make your habits so easy that you'll do them even when you don't feel like it. So the greater the habit, the greater the fiction.
Well, and I think that that's one of those things that is, if like they talk about like working out, putting your clothes out,
Yeah.
you know, if whatever it is, if
Mhm.
the easier that you can make it,
Mhm.
you're gonna stick with it, and it's gonna be so much easier, even if it's eating good. You
Yeah.
know, put your stuff out the night before. You know,
All the meal
whatever-
prep, like you said,
whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I think that goes for any like self-improvement habit, whether it's reading, getting up early, you know, maybe it's even having an intentional conversation every night before you go to bed or
Yeah.
whatever.
Get in the habit of that.
Mhm.
So if you're a leader right now and you are not keeping it simple with your staff or team, whether it's again systems and processes, what if there's way too many and you're wondering why in the world won't they do what I said, or why aren't they operating off the standard operating procedures? Well, check and see if it's too much to read.
Mhm.
Is it not simple? Why are they not falling back on it? Probably
make
because of the
sense?
system. Because we've always said they're not bad people.
Mhm.
It's the bad
It's the
system.
system.
Right? So he goes on to talk about environment and how that can keep from making new habits. And this is the last note I have on this chapter.
It says habits are easier to build when they fit into the flow of your life. Too often we start habits in high friction environments. The central idea is to create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Tell me that is not true for children.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think we forget about environment, like for ourselves as well.
For sure. But I think that it's a reminder that he's not saying that like starting a new habit is easier.
No.
It's easy. Because when you read this book or these chapters, he's like, well, just make it simple.
Yeah.
Just make it attractive. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy. But it is still difficult.
Mhm.
He's just trying to give you like the tips along the way
Yeah,
to help you be successful.
And I
But
think
it's
when-
still up to you.
yeah, and I think when we think of habits, we think that again, when someone says, "I want to create the habit of walking every day or working out," I think our minds automatically go to, it's going to be tough, which it is, but we don't think about the process of making it easy because we think that working out has to be tough or eating. For me, again, I think of all the sweets that I eat. Well, there's alternates to sweetness. You know, you go get natural sweet crap, but
Right.
I don't think through it.
Sometimes it's just a choice.
There you go.
But-
I just don't want to.
That's a whole other topic of conversation. So he talks about removing the attention by helping yourself with your environment.
Yep.
And so that's
Yeah.
kind of what he wraps up with. Like we talked about workout clothes, meal prep,
Yeah.
things like that.
So far, walk slowly but never backwards. Again, it's action and motion. And then this past chapter we just talked about, the law of least effort. Keep it simple. Make it easy to start working on that routine of the habit. It's not going to be easy, but work on that routine. Work on the system. And so chapter 13, there's 2 more chapters left. Chapter 13, there's not really many notes, and then we can talk about that. But chapter 13 says how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. So in this chapter, he introduces a rule that helps us begin to think about our new habits, small, and then practice and start small. And he says they begin to build bigger ones, and then he gives us the 2-minute rule, which is when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do so.
So this is where he talked about there was a guy that wanted to start going to the gym.
Yeah.
And he would go to the gym and he would work out for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I'm thinking that is ridiculous. I didn't want to get in the car and drive there to work out for 5 minutes. But
Yeah.
once he got that habit of working out for 5 minutes,
Yeah.
then he was like, well, if I'm already here for 5 minutes, I might as well. But he created the habit first
Yep. Of showing up.
of
right?
showing up. It was just, it's going to show up and I'm going to be at the gym for 5 minutes.
Yeah, because that's when he said the key to that whole habit of working out was him getting in the car and going.
Yes. Yes.
The habit's going to start. That was the key part of that
Right.
habit.
And
right?
it wasn't hard because he was only working out for 5 minutes. So it was easy and it was fast.
Yeah.
And then he built the habit and then he started working out.
It's the compound interest thing that we've talked
Yes.
about before. It's just like the snowball effect.
Yep.
So if you start with 5 minutes and you go, oh, you know what? I can do 10, 15. It's like the couch to 5K thing.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you're running and running and running, and
Yeah.
then you go, hey, I
It's a
can
little
run
bit
more.
at a time.
Yeah.
Well, and I love that it seems so basic, but talked about like, don't try to say I'm going to read for 30 minutes a day or I'm going to read. It was read a page. Like,
Yeah.
make it something that you're like, dang, that was so easy.
And your mind's saying, go more.
So that way you're
Yes.
building the habit.
And he says, don't go past 2 minutes or 2.5.
Yes.
Yes, stop at 2 minutes because you want your mind to start going, I can't wait to get back to that
Yes.
book. Or, hey, I walked to the end of the street. Wow, that's a victory. And then dopamine, all this stuff plays in a role in it. And so instead of running 3 miles, hey, just tie your running shoes.
Put them on time. I'm all like, I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna walk out the front door and be like, yep, I ran today.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Start small, but do something that takes less than 2 minutes, and it sets you up for success. That's what we're just saying. And he says, as you master the art of showing up, the first 2 minutes simply become a ritual at the beginning of a larger routine. So basically, just show up, get past the hard part in the 2 minutes or less, but keep it simple and continue to practice that over and over and over again. 2 minute rule. That's interesting.
I think I would feel silly if I got up every day for 2 weeks and just put my shoes on and walk till like the end of my driveway. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. I think this is part of that when he talks about the very beginning of the book when he says you're 1 degree off, like just change 1 degree, right? And
Yes.
so 2 minutes is not that much. That might be the 1 degree of the 24 hours. You're changing the trajectory of where you're going to go.
Right.
So
And
yeah.
it's like the compound interest, because then you're gonna be able to walk further, because you're gonna want that more of that dopamine hit as you increase your
Yes.
time. So
Yeah, and as a team leader or as a part of a team, I think it's like when they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Let's say you have a staff that is a new leader, old staff. That new leader can't just come in changing everything. It's going to take 1 degree at a time, and that 1 degree may be 1 week, it may be once a month, but you got to make progress. Because if you just become their friends and you don't change anything, then you're going to be the boss that never changed anything. So, or the leader.
well, and I think that the 2-minute rule, that helps you make sure that you're having action, that you're not just having that motion, that you're putting an action behind it.
Yep, agreed. So again, that's simple chapter. Stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. And that, I mean, I don't know what I put on the action steps, but again, that's another thing to ask yourself. What can I do in 2 minutes or less that is going to get me to the goal that I need to get to? It's just, and he talks about it being a gateway, the 2-minute being a gateway. So if it's a gateway drug, people say that certain drugs are gateway drugs to start go down certain things. It's the same thing with a habit. 2 minutes is a gateway to starting something bigger and better.
That's good.
So chapter 14, how to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. This is the last chapter of this section of keep making it easy. So after each section, here's what I'm learning is after each section, he's writing, at the end of each section, he's writing the last chapter to be the inversion of the whole law. So this law is make it easy. So the inversion is how do you make it difficult? Like, how do you make it difficult to stop a bad habit, right? And then put all these obstacles. So he says sometimes success is less about making good habits easy and more about making bad habits hard. Make your bad habits more difficult by creating what psychologists call a commitment device. So
Yes, so I was like, commitment devices are useful because they enable you to take advantage of good intentions before you fall victim to temptation. Commitment devices increase the odds that you'll do the right thing in the future by making bad habits difficult in the present.
And I think, again, the examples are, like if I want to get in shape, we'll pay for the class before you show up because you know you have to get there.
Yes.
So you're taking out the fact that, hey, it's already paid for.
You're not giving yourself an out.
Yeah, exactly. So if I want to start a business, this is what he said, and you're excited about a business plan, we'll call a mentor and schedule a time and say, hey, I'm going to pay you for this time, and here's my payment. Well, you got to show up because if not, you just paid for nothing.
Yes.
So take the out way. Yeah, make it.
Yes, we're gonna take it out. Take your out off the table.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of another. Don't allow yourself to fall victim of temptation, not without following through. And I think for me, that was the word ownership. Just make yourself take ownership of these commitments. Yeah. So then he goes on to, and this is what's interesting. He goes on to start talking about the things that you can make easy in your life to help build these habits. And he starts talking about automating things. And when we do that, our time is freed up to do more productive things. So he starts talking about automating things in your life.
Yes.
And then he talks about this whole statement.
When you automate as much of your life as possible, you can spend your effort on the tasks machines cannot yet do. Each habit that we hand over to the authority of technology frees up time and energy to pour into the next stage of growth. Again,
the next stage of growth, that's a key thing. So what do you automate? What areas of your life do you automate?
Everything. So we automate like all of our bills. There's not one bill that we have to, and we have done that for years.
Yeah.
I don't know, groceries. Like I have my toilet paper on order every 3 months. Darren is like, I think we have more toilet paper than we need. And I was like, it just comes every 3 months.
That's crazy.
Yes, we will never be out of toilet paper in our house.
Wow.
But I try to do as much of that stuff as I can, because it's. I hadn't thought about it, that it frees up more time for growth. I just know if those tools are available, why not use them? It's so much easier.
Okay. Because those other things are out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah. Now I don't ever have to go buy toilet paper or paper towels, or it just when all of that just happens, I think that people don't think about that little bit of a weight that kind of weighs on you. If you can remove all of that.
Yeah.
Like years ago, we had all of our bills automated except for our water bill because our water company did not offer automation. That was the absolute worst. I had to like write it in my calendar. I had to it was a whole thing to make sure I paid the water bill.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
How much
think the big things is
emotional energy.
The big bills. But I also think for me is like the reoccurring things on my to-do list. So like I know I'm gonna check my emails, I know I gotta respond to calls, I know I gotta respond to texts. So what I do is I put reoccurring every day. So when I sit down at my desk and it says, hey, today we're prioritizing execute is number one. So I'm prioritizing my to-do list. The second thing is always usually looking at my calendar, 30, 60, 90, and then it says to like respond to emails and texts. So that lets me know, hey, go back, look at the emails you got yesterday, look at the texts. Is there anyone you need to respond to? So I think it's also automating your lists of things to go, hey, this needs to be done daily. Just write it down once and hit reoccurring.
Well, I think that's good for like just helping you keep everything, like you've created a habit of how you're gonna do those things because you do the same thing every single day. And you're making it easy.
Yeah.
Which is what the whole chapter is about.
Yeah, so if we automate things to encourage our habits, we follow through with these things because it's already scheduled. So with that said, we have an action step tied to this last statement right here on this next statement that he makes, and it says this: using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and effective way to guarantee the right behavior. So he talks about using technology, and that's where I said, hey, there's some apps and technology that I'm sure that you use and I use, and I just wrote down mine real quick. I put Todoist. I switched from Microsoft To-Do because Todoist is working better with my business, and it takes my projects and it puts it into to-do lists, and then it emails me and puts it on my calendar, and then my mail. Like I use it on my Mac, my phone. It's all connected, and then probably the biggest one that I didn't believe in was Google Drive, because we share the drive, and so Etiana, Jamie, and you get the notes.
Yeah.
But even in the business world, if I do something for Slab, I can send it to all of them, and it's there, and it lives online. It'll never get lost. And then one of my favorites is HEB Go. I wasn't a believer in this, but you just scan it yourself and then
Love
check
that.
out.
I wish we had that at our HEB.
Yeah.
Actually, wait a minute.
Well,
my HEB is your HEB now.
Yes. So there it is. Yeah. HEB Go. It's the things that'll make it easy, and you may have to learn a little bit, but hey, I think if it can make it easier, yeah.
I think it's great.
So recently we just had a guy that is old school, does a lot of paper stuff with a client. He keeps paper, what are they called? Invoices, all this stuff. And then he scans them in, and then he sends them from his phone to his email, from his email to his desktop, from his desktop. He uploads them, and I'm laughing because I know that his bosses are gonna listen to this. So what's funny is I said, hey man, I wanna say his name so bad, but I said, hey man, let me show you this thing called Google Drive. And he goes, oh, I know what that is, I just don't use it. I said, well, let me show you something. That inventory that you do, that sheet that you print every Sunday, that spreadsheet you print every Sunday. He goes, yeah, it's easy. Here it is. And he keeps showing it to me. I said, I know. Did you know Google has a spreadsheet? He goes, I don't use Drive. I said, well, let me show you. So I took it, showed him how to upload it. And he goes, oh, it's the same thing. I was like, yeah, it just lives online because if something happens on your computer, pull it up anywhere. And he goes, oh man, this was 2 weeks ago. And so he's using it on Sunday. So we had a meeting this past Tuesday, and we sit down, and he is not technology driven. So we sat down, and I said, yeah, we need a sheet of all the vendors. Like, I just need a vendor list of everyone we use at every location. And he goes, hey man, I can do that, and I can upload it on Drive. And everybody got quiet, and he goes, he's using Drive? I was like, yeah. And I sent a text to one of his owners, and he said, he's using Drive? I was like, yeah, he's all excited about Drive. And I said, hey man, can we show you TikTok? He goes, what's TikTok? And I go, 15, 30-second videos. He goes, you mean to tell me that people are making videos with 30 seconds long or 15? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, he used some colorful language. What the freak is that for? And I was like, let me show you. And I showed him, yeah. And he goes, why would we do that? And I said, I don't know. I said, but I think I saw you on one of them. He's like, wait, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm just kidding, dude. But he is just not technology driven. And showing him that, though, now he's seeing the repetitions of not having to print something every week, but using an online service to supply the whole company with his inventory sheets. So Google Drive for the win.
Yes, I like Google Drive.
So this section is about making it simple, right? This whole section, we make it simple because when we do, things are learned quicker, and we begin to make them a repetitious cycle. But if it's difficult, then we're spinning our wheels and we won't do anything better, and we won't want to create those habits. So, and he has that big list at the end of every chapter. He breaks down each section, and that's at
atomichabits.com/cheat sheet.
Cheat sheet or
Yes,
cheat sheets?
Cheat
Crap.
sheet.
I don't know if I
Put
put
the
the
notes.
S or the T. Cheat sheet.
It's a cheat sheet.
Man, I just
Whatever. So let's move on to our action steps. So the action steps we have, like, first you really have to determine what habits are you're making difficult. If it's not a habit, it's just an action that you should make better.
Yeah.
So determine those and write out a new plan.
So what habits are just difficult?
Yeah,
Create
just
a new path for it.
they're just not working. Also, like, I really think about automating your life. I think that is one of those things that sometimes people feel like it takes time. It does take time to automate your life. It does take time
Yeah.
to install those new things and get the list together, or even if it's to automate all your bills. It does take time.
Yeah.
But it is so worth it.
It's like the 30-60-90. It takes a lot of upfront to do, but at some point, you're just doing it weekly now, and you're learning that your habit of looking at it and putting it on your schedule is there.
Right,
So
and
yeah.
it takes off like the other pressure of missing something. So, and also I ask, what do you need to do for 2 minutes to create a habit and reach a goal?
What, like 2 minutes?
2 minutes. Like, pick something. What can you do for 2 minutes to reach a goal?
Yeah.
So whatever that is, I think it's that habit that you've always wanted to do, but you just can't.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Try to break it down in 2 minutes. Just
Yep.
put your freaking shoes on
Yep.
and go for a walk.
Yeah, and
2
then I
minutes.
think if you ask yourself, if you're a leader of an organization or a team, like, how simple are you keeping things? And really go back and look at your systems and your processes.
So yeah, determine your habits that are difficult, fix them, automate your life, do things in 2 minutes, and as a leader,
Check on your systems, make sure they're simple.
yeah, no doubt, man, it is. The Texas heat is. It's
You
hot
know, they
here.
don't care about the Texas heat.
It's burning up in this room. We need to.
Right, but let's focus.
Sheesh.
Come on, close it
Um,
out here.
Anyways, guys, we should have a couple more podcasts on this book, but again, next week is going to be the 4th law, which is make it satisfying. Make sure that you write down your action steps, knock those out. But as we close, I was told today that this was funny. They said they cracked up the last 2 weeks because they said you kept saying in closing, and they thought that they were at an old, I guess, church. And I was like, I didn't say that. I guess I did in the last 2 weeks. But
Okay.
as we close,
Gosh. Well, as we wrap up the podcast.
There you go. As we wrap it up, follow us on social media, Made for More Consulting, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We got some good stuff out there this past week. And Tiana put the wallpapers out.
Yes.
We can put that as a little story.
It's on there already. Yeah.
Look at that. She already had it
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
Son of a gun.
They're so good.
Legit. Leave us a review. Same person that told me that I say as we close.
In closing.
They said that they need to leave a review, so that is true.
Yep, need a review.
I did get a blast as soon as we stopped recording last week. I got a text on my phone that said, I should just read the text. I can't read the text. Should I just put him on blast?
No.
And just say
No.
the exact text that this person said. He blasted me for making fun of him and his food that he eats when he's in stressful
His
situations.
drink choices.
Yeah, which is not alcoholic. It's
No,
just,
yeah, but no, it's
yeah.
not.
It's ice cream. And then buy some merch. MadeForMoreConsulting.com. We got hats. We got
T-shirts.
t-shirts. We
And
gotta sell
Tiana's
these
working
dang
on
t-shirts,
stickers. I
man.
just know it. We're gonna
We
get some
have to,
stickers soon.
but we gotta get rid of some of this merch first.
Yeah, come on, people, buy some t-shirts.
Maybe we need to do a sale, like a flash sale. Let Bang Bang, John Bang Bang Evans.
Come
let's-
be like our auctioneer. I don't know, gonna be that. He'd be good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, maybe we should get him to do a commercial for us.
I think we should.
Flash sell with Bang Bang Evans.
You
We
got
do
it.
that. Well, guys, we're gonna wrap up. glad that you guys joined us. Please go back and listen to the previous 3 podcasts on this book and listen to the first one. But remember, you exist for more. You're here to offer more. Don't ever give up. Every single one of us is made for more. We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Oh, that was short, dude. I can't stop thinking.
My ears are
My
sweating.
ears are sweating.
I know.
It's hot. Oh, hey guys.
Their ears
I
are
did that
sweating.
again.
Every week.
Um,
I'm telling you.
yeah.
He's
Hey guys, make sure you go check out the YouTube.
Buy a
website.
t-shirt.
Yeah, buy a t-shirt. Yeah, we'll see you guys at some point.
Adios.
Later.